Discipline and hard work, I think, is going to be the theme here. I've been talking to our guest here for a minute. Sounds like Alex knows what he's talking about when it comes to both of those. Stay tuned for this one, everyone.
Really?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the Your Little Castle studios. I do have my pencil here. I was explaining to Alex what this is for, but those things I deem as pretty awesome, and you can grab the pencil yourself if you like.
Okay.
Take note. This is a real pencil with real lead, and when we say, hey, there's sometimes we got something important, take note of that, and write it, jot it down. So we got a big pencil here. We advocate you take some notes too, because we got an expert here, jiu-jitsu expert, a roofing expert, a business owner, and a dad. All of those are important roles.
Absolutely.
So we'll give a shout out to our sponsors, Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things in your little castle. And so many of us now live in a house that, gosh, it wouldn't have been a castle, except we had an expert like Alex come in and fix it, repair it, put a new roof on it. Arguably the most important part of a house.
Absolutely.
And we want to shout out to those guys who do support us, Carroll House Furniture. With that, let's jump on over here. You got a great looking website and a Facebook page, sharing the information out there with our little planet and helping make a little difference here.
Yeah. 10
years doing this now.
Mm-hmm.
What led you here? Why did you decide to go this path in this kind of a career? It's a little bit of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I have a history, come from small town, Beaufort, Missouri area, Union, Beaufort area, and a lot of times they don't always think really, really big. It's always safety, security, which is never really a horrible thing.
Yeah. First things first, but yeah.
Yeah.
But in the big picture,
in the
you're
big,
only here once.
Yeah. The big picture is I actually had an injury a long time ago. Ended up coming into the roofing industry. Had a company that took me in, and it's something that's led me down in a really amazing path.
Yeah, well, it's a profession that is a lot of hard work goes into roofing. I've got a few of my buddies that are in the industry, and but it's critical because the whole house depends on the roof. Really.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to have that foundation, of course. But if your foundation has some issues, you'll definitely want to address those. But if water's coming in through the top, bad things happen. Mold, siding, everything starts to fail. Get your roof done the right way.
Yep.
Got a lot of great reviews we're going to talk about here too. But we always like to just get some feedback from our guests. Tell us, what is it that led you here? Why you decided to do this, and how long you've been doing it. But you said now 10 years in the industry, and now your own company here for 4 years, coming up on 5.
Yes, absolutely. So we're in our 4th year of business. The things that led me here, it's a really, really terrific industry. We get a lot of direct contact with our customers. We get to help people tremendously. Like you had just mentioned, the roof is a very, very valuable component of your home. And so, I have background in other construction and other industry, but the roof is something that takes precedent over many other things, and it protects everything that you love and care about, including your family. And so we take a lot of pride in what we do, and it's helping our community and building a really strong, successful business is something that is universally true, that it helps us and it helps our consumer.
Yeah, I mean, there's like so we thought we like focusing on the construction trades because you're building the house, the place that people raise their family, where they're going to develop relationships with people in a neighborhood and a community, and really help what I think our little planet here is all about. We've seen all kinds of craziness in our world here. I'm not going to talk about any specific events, but it all comes back to who is it that can you count on your neighbor? Do you know the people that you are living and breathing with, and can they help you to build your house or in this case make a video, but to communicate who you are. But we're all here trying to help make a little difference, and roofing has become such a big need, and especially here in the Midwest. Do you think there's a more important need? I don't know if it's more important, but there's so many storms that come through here.
Yep.
You're talking about hail, tornadoes. Now last year we had 2 tornadoes back to back. That was kind of crazy. But these kinds of attributes of our Midwest region cause for the failure of roofs if they're not installed correctly, and if they need repair, something needs to be done. We had that recent damage. I'm sure you were part of that with those two tornadoes that came through. How vital is it? And is our region more susceptible to those kinds of concerns? Would you say, based on the weather?
Yeah, the roof is always one of the first things to get damaged when a storm comes through. We, being a Washington-based company, that first tornado that came through last year, it devastated Villa Ridge and Labadie, and those are in our backyard. We're neighboring cities, and so we're jumping in to help tarp people's roofs and help take care of people, and that's a really, really important thing for us in our business and helping our community in that way. So.
Yeah, but it's just the strength of some of these storms comes through. It's like if you didn't get damaged from the last storm, wait till the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. They say that I've caught wind of some theories that Tornado Alley is actually shifting east, and so that means that, and I've seen it firsthand. I mean, over the last 3 years, we have seen a tremendous increase in storm activity, storm strength, size of hail, wind speeds, things like that, and I don't necessarily anticipate that dissipating anytime soon. I think it's going to last several years. And so it's something that people out there, you guys all need to be really aware that storms are getting more severe here. And we see that on multiple different fronts. So
yeah, Tornado Alley. I just dream of that as like you said, West Kansas, Oklahoma, those states where we hear about tornadoes all the time. But yeah, I guess with this new recent. When we had 2 in a row, I think that was the first time in 20 years that we'd had 2 tornadoes back to back. But tornado, I hadn't heard that before. But Tornado Alley moving east, I mean, towards us here,
right.
St. Louis, gateway to the west, Washington, just a suburb here in St. Louis. That's kind of scary for some people. But does that help to explain why we've seen so much more damage, it seems, in the last 5-10 years?
Yeah, I think so. I think it seems to line up really well. The storm activity, like I said, especially over the last 3 years, and it's maybe a little bit broader than that, but the storms are more widespread. The hail is coming in larger, faster. The wind speeds are heavier. Tornadic activity is much higher, and so it's kind of crazy growing up because I grew up. We hear tornado sirens all the time as a kid, and you never. It's kind of one of those things where we hear the sirens, but we don't really take it that seriously. And now I would say if you hear the sirens, certainly take it seriously because we've had several tornadoes land in our backyard here in town. So
yeah, I remember the one that came through most recently. I was down in Florida for spring training. I do that every year with my stuff with the Cardinal Cowboy and go down and see the Cardinals. And I'm calling my mom in St. Louis. I'm like, "Are you downstairs?" She's like, "Yes." I said, "Well, you need to take because I always call her on the home phone. But I said, you need to take your cell phone downstairs because those telephone lines may not be working here in a short period of time.
Right.
You've got the storms that have come through here. I don't remember the last time I've ever talked to my mom about a tornado coming through, but here we are, and that's why we need more guys like you to do the work.
Absolutely.
Very cool. What is it that it provides for your passion for this? It's hard to have a job where you're the boss and you're running a business unless you've got something that just gets you up every day. What do you enjoy most about this?
The thing that I absolutely enjoy most about this is helping the community. You can see this in our reviews. We are really, really proud of the work that we do, and not just the work, but offering a true customer experience. There's this thing that I continuously hear, and it's really hard to find a contractor, whether it be roofing or they're building decks or windows, and there's a big lack of communication, and it seems like the integrity amongst contractors is getting smaller and smaller, and so that's maybe reversing, but the thing we take the most pride in is serving our community, having excellent communication, having wonderful relationships inside of our community, and we get, not just me, but my whole team takes a lot of pride in that. We get a lot of fulfillment from helping people, and so especially with these storms, it's just crazy, but that's our number one driver.
Yeah, there's just so much at stake when you do this. My little TV show and what we do here, kind of neat, kind of important, but we were talking about the damage that can be caused, and some of the people, there's injuries that people may have from electrical wires. We've seen all kinds of craziness, but are falling off or just being out in the elements, and the little old ladies who were sitting at home and their roof's torn off their house, somebody's got to go and make sure and take care of that. And
absolutely.
Made that your focus for what you do now.
Yeah. Cool.
We like to share a little bit about, we talked about briefly about the reviews, and that's something that's critical, because these days, if you're not getting reviews, then what are you doing? You've got to have somebody who's willing to talk about your business and share with the world what it is you're doing. But we'll put up on the wall here. You've got 85 reviews that with an average score of a 5.0. How do you think it is you gained that? I mean, pretty obvious, but tell us a little bit of how some of the work you've done to earn that.
Yeah, so we have, I would start that with, we have 3 core values at our company, which you can actually find on the site too, and we could look at that later. But our first core value is being a trusted advisor. And that means that we always put the needs of the customer in front of the needs of our business. And so that means that referring them to a different roofer, if it's not particularly up our alley, we never put money ahead of the customer needs. Our second one is being impeccable with our word, which means that we do what we say we're going to do, and we do it when we say we're going to do it. The third core value that we have is extreme ownership. That means that at first, for starters, it means that nobody's perfect. We're all human. We all make mistakes. But the big thing is that we have integrity, and that we are going to take care of any problem that we cause no matter what. We're not a roofing company that's going to leave you high and dry. If we damage a plant, we're going to replace that plant for you. All those little things matter, and it's all encompassing in the experience that our customers have. And so we tell this to every customer, and we just meet the mark for that. And that's a very strict value system that I believe in, and that as we hire people and bring people into our organization, that they abide by those core values, and that they try to live their life, in resonance with those values.
I have been doing the show for a long time, but I haven't had anybody yet bring in the fact that they put on their website their core values. That's important.
Yeah.
And he's got to memorize too. I have to find those on the website. We'll show that with everybody. But those are important to you, or else you wouldn't even bring that up. But
yeah, absolutely. They're important enough that we actually have an entire wall of our office dedicated to our core values. So that way every customer can see it. Every employee at the beginning of every day can see it. And so it's just something that we try to live and breathe by. So
there you have it, everybody. Follow those core values, and life will become easier. Write that down. I'm going to put these up here in a minute because we didn't talk about that, but I'll find them. And it's good that you share those and make that and put it on your office. It's kind of something you live and breathe by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. We'll jump back here and talk a little bit about some of the reviews here. I've got one highlighted. Jake with RC Roofing came out to check out a leak on my roof and another spot that I thought needed replaced. He found the leak right away, said it was easy to fix, and even took care of it on the spot for free. After looking everything over, he was super honest and told us usually to handle these full roof replacements, not the smaller repair jobs I was needing help at this time. But I really appreciated his honest, kind professional he was. Definitely recommend if you're looking for someone. So that's kind of unique. I put it on the spot there. I didn't pick one out. We like to talk about this is the $50,000 roof, but there's somebody, they just need somebody to be honest with them. How often is somebody coming in and saying, oh yeah, you need a new roof because you've got this leak over here?
That is something that happens a lot. I mean, obviously replacing an entire roof is far more profitable for the company than it is to just go out and fix a tiny little leak, right? And so that goes back to our core values as well, but ultimately we live in a small community. It's a very honest community, and we believe that helping other people will inevitably help your own life. And so if we're already going out to look at an issue and all it takes is sealing some flashing or replacing a piece of flashing or fixing something, it's going to take us 20 minutes. There's no reason that we need to charge this person a tremendous amount of money. Let's just take care of them. And that way, if they ever need help in the future, we're likely going to be the person they call. We want to be that trusted advisor. We want to be the company that people look to. We want to be the company that people go to have a really good experience and somebody that they can really trust.
Very important right there. Some of the easiest form of communication, advertising, just go out and help people, do what's right, and you'd be amazed at how well the word spreads for those of us who are continue to do that. Good strategy. I like that. I just randomly picked them, and there it was, everybody. I've got 85 to choose from, but that's the one we picked. So it's nice to see somebody who doesn't just, it's all about the money. They want to take care of the people in their community. With that, we've got some fun. We were able to partake. We got to interview Babe Ruth's grandson. So I'm putting that in a hat here, everybody. It was a fun afternoon. My buddy Ed Wheatley invited us to come down, and we went to the luncheon down at the MAC, and then we're going to share with you a little bit more of the other fun we do in our community here. So take a look at this and then tell us what you think. Recording? Hello, everybody. Carter Ruth with Tom Stevens. Babe Ruth's grandson came here to the Browns 41st dinner for the St. Louis Browns Association. Tell me then, if you don't mind, Tom, I'm going to put my clip on you here. What does it mean? What does Babe's legacy for baseball mean to you?
Well, it's everything to me, really. As I mentioned in my remarks, there's never been a time that Babe was not a part of my life in some form. And now that I'm retired, I benefited so much throughout my life through my relationship with him, the experiences that we've had, that now I kind of want to pay it back and just try and spread the gospel of Babe Ruth wherever I go.
Well, his name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up! Well, there you go, everybody. A little bit of the fun, the excitement we get to have in the community and share a little bit. But it was fun interviewing Babe Ruth's grandson.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Probably one of the most historic figures in all of baseball, obviously. And whether you like baseball or jiu-jitsu, something that you did that gave you that discipline that you learned to be competitive and now running a successful business. This is where I get a little jealous. I didn't start my company until I was in my mid-30s. I wish I'd have started younger. I don't know how old you are, but it looks like you probably started this in your late 20s,
Yep.
mid-20s?
Yep.
Okay. Lucky guess. And it just, when you get to have control of your own business and everything you run, you make the decisions, you live or die based on the work that you do, then it seems that's a much more rewarding way to live on our little planet. So let's talk about a little bit of a cost analysis. This is where I get into the numbers game, the ROI, and how often is it people have damage to their roof and they're like, oh no, it didn't affect me. I don't have a major issue, or they come and look at it like, oh yeah, there's definitely some damage. Oh well, we'll just go. And what are they putting at risk there by not getting things fixed, especially properly the first time?
Yeah, so they're putting a lot at risk. I mean, obviously it's their home. We've kind of covered some of this, but ultimately, doing it the right way the first time is a very, very important thing, especially when it comes to your roof. It's not always a situation where, if they don't do a really great job, we can just come in and kind of fix it up and make it last. Cheaper is never cheaper. I say that very frequently. Now, on the flip side of that, there's always people who are very expensive who also are just expensive. There's always a good middle ground. And so one of the things that I always recommend is really vetting the contractor that you're looking at doing business with. You don't want to be complacent in utilizing the funds, especially if it's an insurance claim that your insurance company has provided. I ran into a situation this morning actually where they had a roof replaced a few months ago, and they decided not to replace the skylights because I suppose the contractor told them, oh, well, they're okay, you know, they're in decent shape. And so lo and behold, they had a leak a couple nights ago when it had rained. They called me out. I went out this morning, and they have a few issues above and beyond not replacing the skylights, but I did end up getting them fixed where the skylights weren't going to leak. But here we are 8 months later replacing the skylights on their roof because they decided not to have them replaced with the roof. So their cost associated with that is higher now because there's a lot more repair work that has to be done.
So more out of pocket.
More out of pocket because we have to manipulate the roof around it and things of that nature. And so it would have been really easy for them to have them put in when the roof was going on. So, yeah.
Don't cut corners. We talked about that's one of my favorite sayings. Cheap gets very expensive, or as Alex says, cheap is not hardly ever cheaper. Right?
Absolutely.
Same way. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But the point is, don't cut corners, especially when you're talking about your house. I mean,
absolutely,
this is a place where you live and breathe, and kids need a place to play their games and play their sports and get to know the neighborhood friends. But don't cut corners. Not a good strategy. Tell me then, I guess, what is it that sets you guys apart? If you could say there's one reason somebody would choose you, what is it something you do better? I like those core values, but give me some more about what it is that you do that separates you from the rest.
Sure. We just have a higher standard, and that's kind of in our tagline. We're raising roofing standards, and we have a very, very specific way that we install roofs. It is 100% to manufacturer specifications. Not necessarily somebody taught by Uncle Joe who was learned by somebody else. Not that that's always a bad thing. However, manufacturer instructions are really, really important in replacing the components and doing the labor items that are required. For one, it keeps your warranty intact and valid. If you don't install a roof properly, that you don't have a valid manufacturer's warranty. And so, if you're replacing a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 roof, it's kind of important to make sure you have a warranty on that.
Important. There we go. Go ahead. Yeah.
The other thing that sets us aside that's in line with that is that we use higher quality materials. Owens Corning is a really, really terrific manufacturer. There's lots of good shingle manufacturers out there. One of the things that myself and other really great roofers would tell you is that we talked about this a second ago, but cheaper is not always cheaper. There is a massive difference in product quality, and so I like to compare it to a lot of people when they're renovating their home, they buy new floors. Wood floors, you can price range anywhere from $3 a foot to $30 a foot with just wood floors. Same is true in roofing. It's important to fall somewhere in the middle where people feel comfortable, it's affordable, but also offering a product that's actually going to stand the test of time. It's going to protect you from storms. It's going to seal down and perform really well. So
those are all important things. We've got a lot that he said there, but Alex knows what he's talking about. He's done this for a while, and I would say it's definitely to your advantage. I didn't realize there was such a range, but yeah, when you're doing things on the low end, you get what you pay for, kind of thing. And
always.
So why would you end up, especially for your own house, cut corners to that extent to where now you're really impugning the integrity, and then something you're going to have to replace. Nobody wants to buy a new roof every three years.
Absolutely not.
The average roof should go for 10, 15, 20.
20, yeah. I mean, barring any major storm events, yeah, you should get at least 20 years out of a roof. Absolutely.
Okay. Something to keep in mind from our experts, everybody. Well, then tell me, along those lines, what's one of the biggest mistakes that consumers make? There's a lot that can go wrong with a roof, but there's a lot of decisions that have to be made when getting a roof done. And one of the things I heard from people talk about, some of the experts mention, is when if you're an expert roofer, then great. But if you're not, if you're going to go make a claim with the insurance company, it's probably better to have somebody who's an expert help you through that process. Is that true?
It's very true. Absolutely. Some of the common mistakes that I see, and maybe not mistakes, but some of the common trends that I see with homeowners is it's generally twofold. It's not vetting the contractor appropriately, and I could talk a little bit about that, but it's also not doing enough research to make sure that the materials that contractor is proposing that you use are going to be what you're paying for or what you're hoping to receive out of the deal. So Not vetting your contractor. You know, I would always recommend somebody get a reference list from a contractor, not just read the reviews. The reviews are really important. It's a really great resource. I would call and talk to other customers that this person has talked to. Talk in local Facebook community groups about certain companies. People are going to chime in, and you're going to hear things about people that you may not have heard otherwise. Talk to people that you trust that have worked with them. That is a really great tool to use. And then in addition to that, vetting and making sure that the materials that they're quoting you are of good quality. That's something that's really big. Do some research. You're spending 10, 20, 30 plus $1,000 on something. It's super important that you get on the computer, start reading about certain products, look at class action suits against manufacturers, figure out what the defects are. You know, like we talked about earlier, nobody's perfect, and manufacturing is manufacturing. And so there's times where I offer certain products over other products, and then that changes based on things that I'm seeing from manufacturers. And you know, they had a bad line. We're not selling that stuff right now, you know. And so we're always at the top with that, and so we're always passing that along to our customers. Kind of goes back to us being a trusted advisor. But you know, for people who don't have really good connections with roofing companies, definitely do your research. It's very important. There's a wide range of skills. There's a wide range of personalities in our industry, and so in efforts to protect you guys, definitely do your research.
Very key and important for all of that stuff. But as a matter of getting this done and working with the insurance companies or getting it, just going through the process, there's just so much at stake. Mm-hmm. The quality of the product, I didn't realize the different levels you're talking about, but you can refer to somebody based on the type of roof they have, the type of house they have, the area that they live, or these are all the variable factors and what kind of material somebody might use?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've looked at roofs that were 8 years old that my guess would have been that they're 18 years old. I've looked at roofs that were 20 years old that my guess would have been that they're 8 years old. And so a lot of that has to do with ventilation and install practice and quality of materials. So all of those things, it's all encompassing. They all play a dramatic role in the performance and duration of the roof. So that's definitely something to consider.
He said ventilation, everybody. Did you know that's a key component of, and how often is ventilation? People are like, my roof needs ventilation. Why is that? Because of the heating, cooling, moisture. You starting getting mold. There's lots of issues that can come about because just they didn't pay attention to the proper ventilation.
Mm-hmm. Ventilation is a big deal. If you have too much heat trapped in your attic, it's going to cause a really dramatic issue with your roof, which is called blistering. It's basically where there's too much heat trapped in the attic. It pushes heat back, so it's getting the heat from the sun. It's transferring through into the attic. You have the heat from the home coming up into the attic. It's pushing back out, and if you don't have a place for that heat to escape, it pressurizes and pushes back out through the bottom of the shingles and causes the granulation to pop out of the shingles. Wow. So it's a big deal. Ventilation is one of the key components in determining how long a roof is going to last.
We're going to talk about quite a bit more on our second half for everybody. I've got Alex going to stick around for another half hour. Stay tuned for more, everybody. Giddy up.